Good morning and welcome back to Reading Wikis for You, where we read the wiki articles for you. And today we're going to be continuing our look at the fictional Battletech universe by reading about Clan Wolf, one of the major factions in the game. Now, before we get started, don't forget, drop a comment down below. Let me know what articles you'd like to see next, but let's get started. Clan Wolf, from 3142, the Wolf Empire, was not only one of the original 20 clans founded by Nicholas Kerensky, but was also given the distinct honor of carrying forth Kerensky's name and his genetic legacy. This status as caretaker of the Kerensky blood name also served as a source of conflict with other clans, especially Clan Jade Falcon, which felt slighted by the Ilkhan's decision. Named for the massive wolves of Strana Mekti, which grow to nearly twice the size of their ancestors on Terra, the Wolf clan has been a dominant force in the clan since its inception. Responsible for the annihilation of Clan Wolverine and the absorption of Clan Widowmaker, Clan Wolf was also instrumental in the development of battle armor. The leader of the Warden faction in the Ground Council, the clan was nevertheless forced to participate in the clan invasion of the Inner Sphere, where they proceeded to outshine all other clans in the number of worlds conquered. Clan Wolf was nearly destroyed by its hated enemy, the Jade Falcons, in the Refusal War that followed, but although the clan survived, it was split in two: a Crusader-minded Clan Wolf and Warden-minded Clan Wolf in exile. In the years that followed this divide, Clan Wolf rebuilt its strength, but suffered severely during the Word of Blake Jihad, even as it was forced from the clan homeworlds, and Clan Hell's Horses carved out its own occupation zone from the Wolves' Coreward territory. 2 generations of relative peace allowed Clan Wolf to recover from these setbacks, so that when the Blackout set off a new round of wars and chaos, the clan was able to carry off a mass migration from their occupation zone deep into the Inner Sphere. Clan Wolf conquered over 60 worlds from the revived Free Worlds League and the Lyran Commonwealth before proclaiming itself reborn as the Wolf Empire on 1 January 3142. By 3145, the Wolf Empire was poised to strike into the Republic of the Sphere's remaining territory in an effort to seize Terra itself. In 3151, they would breach the Republic to get to Terra and become the Ill Clan of the reborn Star League. History. Quote, "Here with the Strana Mekti Wolf, we see that we may be the epitome of a warrior, cunning matched with instinct and stealth, joined with a final, terrifying attack. For this mighty creature, I name you. You are Clan Wolf." Unquote. Nicholas Kerensky, 2810. Quote, "We are wolves, my Khan. We are the masters of war. It is our element. No true harm can come to us when we are engaged in it." Unquote. Star Colonel Alaric Wolf, 17 December 3136. Quote, "What is it like fighting the wolf? Imagine lightning on legs, or an earthquake with arms, or catastrophe with genius, or just pure hell on wheels." Unquote. A soldier of the Lovinek militia to a reporter on 2 June 3050. Origin. Clan Wolf was founded by Jerome Winson, an officer in the Star League Defense Force who served under General Alexander Kerensky during the Amorous Civil War. After Kerensky's family was rescued from Moscow during the final battle for Terra, Jerome became something of an older brother to Alexander's 2 sons, Andrei and Nicholas. When Alexander proposed an exodus from the Inner Sphere, Jerome was among those who chose to follow him. Jerome maintained a close association with the Kerensky family on the Pentagon worlds, and as the threat of civil war threatened to consume the Star League in exile, he again chose to follow a Kerensky, this time Nicholas, when he called for another exodus. On Strana Mekti, the bond between Jerome and Nicholas only grew stronger following the marriage of Jennifer Winson, Jerome's younger sister. Eventually, Jerome was chosen to be the first Khan of the Wolf clan, and under his leadership, the Wolves became the first to be combat certified by Nicholas. Operation Klondike. Eden. The Eden system was an important target for the clans, as that was where the Pentagon Civil War began. Competition was fierce for a part of the invasion. The Wolves defeated Clan Staradder and won their place alongside Clan Hell's Horses, Clan Jade Falcon, and Clan Smoke Jaguar. Clan Wolf's first assignment was the Abaddon Heights, an area with low population due to the Curse of Eden, but with important mineral resources, most notably Eden's uranium supply. On 5 July 2821, the Wolves began with an offer of the antigen rather than violence. Most of the smaller settlements surrendered without a fight. When fighting was necessary, the Wolves took care to avoid civilian casualties and minimize collateral damage. Seeing this as weakness, some rebels fought back by coercing civilians into suicide attacks. Others used everything from laser drills up to a few battle mechs. The wolves stuck to a slow, deliberate strategy of peacekeeping, isolating foes and forcing them to surrender. The wolves then joined the other clans for the main assault on the Levick Ascendancy, a far better equipped and organized force. The Ascendancy contested the clan landing on the continent of Noruf with aerospace attacks while harassing the clan forces with ambushes on the ground. The Ascendancy Marshall Foundation nearly succeeded with a special operations raid against the Jade Falcons, but the Wolves and Smoke Jaguars, already warned, were better prepared for them. The AMF chose to withdraw into the capital city, Novi Moskva, in hopes that urban warfare would help their greater numbers offset the greater quality of the clan forces. The Wolves and Jaguars tried to prevent this withdrawal with their fast mech forces and aerospace elements, but with little success. After a difficult strategy meeting, the Ilkhan chose a strategy of lightning thrust to seize key bastions within the city. The Wolves came in from the north, feinting toward the government buildings before seizing the Eden Military Academy, supported by vehicles and infantry from the Hell's Horses. While the attack was to begin on 15 October, AMF recon elements stumbled upon the Wolf staging area, and so the attack began several hours early. The Wolves sent a fast star of mechs equipped with jamming gear to pursue the AMF scouts, while the main Wolf force advanced on their objective. The Wolf fortunes turned about 6 hours into the assault when the star pursuing the AMF scouts ran into an AMF staging point and were cut off from support. Con Winston sent a detachment led by Nicholas Kerensky to create an escape route for the beleaguered star. This was successful, though only one mech survived from the rescued star, and 2 of the warriors later died of their wounds. By the middle of the day on 16 October, the Wolves were entering the Academy grounds, but they faced stiff resistance that held out for several days. The Wolves also had to stage a rescue of a trapped Hell's Horses convoy during this time. Once the Academy was secured as a base, the Wolf forces began hunting for the AMF High Command. It was the Jade Falcons who found them, however, due to a lucky signals intercept on 11 November by a Jade Falcon star almost on top of the hidden base. Elements from all clans quickly laid siege to the headquarters under Wolf Sakhan Elise Fetladral. Nicholas Kerensky intercepted a relief force of AMF troops, forcing them to withdraw, and by dawn the next day, the headquarters was taken, including Ascendancy leader Matthew Tillum. Victory was assured, but there was yet a cost to pay. On 1 December, a group of fleeing AMF mechs caught Nicholas Kerensky alone, destroying the cockpit of his mech. The Eden campaign ended shortly after on 3 December, and the Wolves and Jade Falcons went to reinforce Dagda. Dagda. The clans assigned to liberate Dagda had encountered numerous problems, with only Clan Burek performing as expected. The Ilkhan chose to bring in reinforcements for the final campaign. Clan Jade Falcon and Clan Wolf, both under direct supervision of Nicholas Kerensky, with the other clans securing the perimeter and lesser objectives. The Wolves were tasked with securing the Thorin Pass near the Brian Cache known as the Black Brian, and then the Falcons neutralized the external defenses of the fortress. The Donegal forces inside the cache were still able to sally forth and make fast raids, retreating before they could be counterattacked. Operation Ferret began on 2 April 2822 with the initial Dagda clans establishing a secure perimeter around all known exits, while the Wolves were tasked with breaching and holding 3 gates. A binary of mechs was assigned to each gate. First one and then the other 2 gates fell, and the Jade Falcons passed through the Wolf lines into the Black Brian. The Donegal mech forces were destroyed within 10 days, but crushing all resistance within took 54 days total. With the Falcons plagued by enemy ambushes, Wolf Khan Jerome Winson offered his warriors as a relief force, but was refused by Khan Hazen. When Hazen emerged with the last prisoner, the Council of Khans was waiting for her. The Ilkhan declared Operation Klondike complete. Wolverines annihilated. The Ilkhan implemented a number of brutal measures in the months following the success of Operation Klondike, seeking to bring about a total reform of society and prevent any more devastating infighting. Although these measures also brought about mounting criticisms from some other than clans, chief among these critics was Clan Wolverine, whose opposition to the Ilkhan crystallized in October 2823 when they were forced to give up a Brian cache they claimed as theirs and theirs alone. Their actions, including ultimately the use of a nuclear weapon to destroy the genetic repository of Clan Snowraven, gave the Ilkhan all the evidence he needed to call for a trial of annihilation. The Grand Council voted unanimously on 11 October to approve the measure. Over the next few days, all of the clans bid for the right to carry out the Grand Council's decision, until eventually it came down to a contest between Clan Wolf and Clan Widowmaker. Already there was bitter enmity between these two clans, and, according to the Wolves, the Widowmakers deliberately drove the bidding down to dangerous levels before withdrawing. This meant that Clan Wolf would be outnumbered when finally confronted the Wolverines, a fact that very much pleased Clan Widowmaker. Nonetheless, the Wolves began their assault on 25 October and for 2 days confronted the traitors on land, in the air, and in space around Cersei. Despite being outnumbered, Clan Wolf succeeded in driving Clan Wolverine from their homeworld and for the next 19 days continued to hunt the survivors as they fled across clan space. In the end, the Wolverines' warriors were completely wiped out, although the Wolf force had suffered heavy losses themselves with almost 80% killed. The next 2 months were spent completely dismantling the Wolverines' infrastructure, terminating all Wolverine Sibcos, and sterilizing the clan civilian survivors. When a final report was made on 22 January 2824, the Wolf Clan loremaster noted numerous discrepancies between official Wolverine records and battlefield kill tallies. While the majority of frontline warriors were accounted for, it appeared the number of second-line troops and some civilians were missing, along with a sizable cache of equipment. Ultimately, these were rationalized as shoddy bookkeeping, although in truth the Grand Council suspected that part of Clan Wolverine had escaped. Golden Century, absorbing the Widowmakers. In the wake of the Wolverine annihilation, all of the clans turned towards the task of rebuilding a society devastated by civil war. By 2830, industries were rebuilt, food production rose to its highest point, and new colonies in the Kerensky cluster were being founded, officially starting what the clans would call the Golden Century. Clan Wolf itself became an economic powerhouse, thanks in part to their encouragement of their merchant case to trade throughout clan space. Unfortunately, in the years since the trial of annihilation, the animosity between clans Wolf and Widowmaker only continued to grow, each one declaring trials of possession against the other, which often skirted the rules of honorable combat. This conflict eventually came to a head between the two in 2834. In order to meet their growing demand for raw resources, the merchants of Clan Wolf made an initial approach to the merchants of Clan Widowmaker for a year's worth of production from their bauxite mines in Dagda, bauxite being a vital component of ferroaluminum armor. While amiable to trading with them, the Widowmaker merchants were overruled by their khans and the deal fell through. This forced the Wolves to declare a formal challenge for the bauxite, and in the trial of possession which followed, the Wolves were victorious. Angry at being forced to give away a valuable resource due to what they saw as their warrior case arrogance, the Widowmaker merchants took the drastic step of formally petitioning the Grand Council to censure their Khan, Kal Jorgensen, for his negligence. Fearing that the Wolf Khan, Jerome Winson, was behind the seditious petition, Khan Jorgensen took drastic action. On 7 June, mass arrests were carried out and the protest ringleaders were executed. In the Grand Council, Khan Jorgensen formally charged Khan Winson with agitating his merchants to revolt against his rule, a claim which the Wolf Khan vehemently denied. In his own countercharge, Khan Winson argued that Jorgensen's massacre of his own people showed not only that Widowmaker Khan was unfit to lead his people, but so was his clan's warrior caste, and demanded the right to absorb the Widowmaker clan. For nearly a week, the matter was debated in the Grand Council, but in the end, the vote was unanimous in favor of Clan Wolf. Not only had Jorgensen's actions genuinely shocked the other clans, but Clan Widowmaker had made too many enemies and few strong allies. After the vote, the Widowmakers called for a trial of refusal, and in the bidding that followed, the Wolves fought hard to earn the right to refute their enemies' refusal. The battle took place on 7 October at a neutral site, the Steets Plains of Ironhold, capital world of the Jade Falcons. The forces opposed were nearly even at a cluster each, although the Wolves had 11 stars to the Widowmakers' 10. Due to the serious nature of the fight and bitter history between the two clans, the Il Khan himself and all of the Khans of the other clans would serve as referees. While beyond the battlefield, other clan warriors watched eagerly through their monitors and satellites. When the battle commenced, the initial exchange between the sides was fierce, but eventually Khan Winson and Khan Jorgensen found each other and declared a trial of grievance. While the two warriors faced each other, the battle around them died down as those present formed an impromptu circle of equals around the dueling Khans. Just as it appeared Jerome Winson was ready to defeat his opponent, a star of Widowmaker mechs jumped to their Khan's defense and attacked the Wolf Khan. Whether this was on their own volition or in response to orders was unbeknownst, but the flagrant violation of Zelbringen caused the other Khans, including the Il Khan himself in his personalized atlas, to immediately intercede in Jerome's defense. What happened next, according to Khan Jorgensen's later testimony, was an accident. a result of his dazed state caused by the Wolf Khan's attacks and his warriors' unexpected actions. Seeing something stooping over his fallen mech, the Widowmaker Khan instinctively shot it square in the head with a large laser, too late realizing that it was the Ilkhan's mech he just hit. Combat came to an abrupt halt as technicians and medics rushed towards the Ilkhan, but by the time they reached his mech, Nicholas Kerensky was already dead. The warriors of Clan Wolf were driven insane with rage and fell upon the surviving Widowmaker warriors. Only Khan Jorgensen was spared, just long enough for the briefest of trials to determine his guilt and arrange his execution. Over the next 3 days, and with the aid of the other clans, the Wolves managed to track down every last Widowmaker warrior, even those in the most remote outposts, and exacted their revenge. The last of these battles took place on the Widowmaker capital of Roche, where the remaining Widowmaker warriors were pursued to the deserted city of Porthos. As the Wolf forces entered the city's downtown district, Widowmaker Sakon Kyle Vordermark sprung his trap. 2 trinaries of Widowmaker mechs appeared from their hiding places and surrounded the Wolf warriors, while through the external speakers of his own mech, Sakon Vordermark taunted the Wolves with their imminent demise. Luckily, a group of Clan Goliath Scorpion warriors had been observing the battle, among them Con Sirius Elam, a lore master Ethan Moreau. Driven by his Surkairide to defend the kin of Nicholas, Lore Master Moreau charged his Black Knight into the city, followed quickly by the rest of the Goliath Scorpions. Their impromptu charge broke through the trap, and both Scorpions and Wolves fought together against the Widowmakers. During the fighting, both the Scorpion Khan and Widowmaker Sakon engaged in a heated duel with each other, but were killed by an artillery barrage of unknown origin. This same barrage also destroyed 2 whole stars of mechs. The arrival of Clan Wolf reinforcements finally ended the battle, which also served to mark the official end of Clan Widowmaker's existence. Despite the timely arrival of the Goliath Scorpions in saving their forces, the Wolves were initially outraged at the interference, although Con Winson eventually accepted that Moreau's Surkairide was an honor debt to his entire clan and richly rewarded the Goliath Scorpions. Over the objections of the Jade Falcons, the Grand Council unanimously granted the Wolves' demand to claim all Widowmaker resources, something which only further increased their power relative to other clans. Very few Widowmaker warriors survived to be absorbed. Jerome Winson was elected to take Nicholas's place as Ilkhan of the clans, although ironically, with the great founder's death, the position immediately began to lose some of its prestige. While Ilkhan Wilson's authority in matters concerning all of the clans was always respected, this was less so in matters considered strictly internal to a given clan. This trend would continue with future Ilkhans until eventually the position lapsed. An age of growth. While all of the clans benefited from one degree to another during the Golden Century, Clan Wolf remained in the forefront of new developments and economic expansion. This was thanks in part to the fact that the Wolves allowed their civilian case a measure of freedom unseen in most other clans, granting them the opportunity to explore and create. While the feud with Clan Jade Falcon at times threatened the Wolves' dominance, carving out enclaves on Dagda and Glory to harass Wolf facilities there, the Falcons' rigid adherence to tradition curtailed their ability to grant the civilian case even the limited freedoms necessary for large-scale colonization projects. This left Clan Wolf free to fully exploit new worlds discovered within the Kerensky cluster and establish major industrial centers on Paxton and Tiber. When Clan Coyote unveiled the Omnimech in 2854, Clan Wolf knew that it would need this technology to maintain its edge, but that its current research and development resources were already dedicated to another project, and it could take years, even decades, to retool for Omni technology development. Fighting a trial of possession over the technology was also out of the question, since the Coyotes were strong allies in the Grand Council. Fortune came to the Wolves' aid when the Coyotes informed the clan that the Jade Falcons had just recently won the technology from them, and provided details on the specific unit which had fought in the trial of possession. Armed with this knowledge, the Wolf clan succeeded in intercepting the Jade Falcons and seizing from them copies of the Omnimech designs they had so recently won. The result was that Clan Wolf was only a few years behind Clan Coyote and on par with the rest of the clans in terms of Omnimech technology. In thanks for their tip-off, the Wolves also let the Coyotes in on the special project which was currently occupying their efforts. In 2842, Clan Goliath Scorpion unveiled a new exoskeleton design, nicknamed Water Elementals, for use in undersea mining operations. After witnessing them in action, Wolf merchants offered the Goliath Scorpions access to almost all of Dagda's oceans in exchange for these new suits. For the next couple of decades, much of Clan Wolf's R&D efforts were dedicated to developing this technology to create a new armored infantry. While environment-specific suits were prototyped, Wolf scientists eventually settled on a suit able to operate in a variety of environments, and their efforts were completed in late 2867. The final product was christened Elemental Battle Armor, so named because it could fight in any element, and in 2868, 2 stars of these suits defeated a light star of Clan Novacat Omnimex in a trial of possession. Immediately following the trial, Clan Hell's Horses, which had been developing their eugenics program to produce genetically superior conventional infantry, demanded a trial of possession for this new technology. The Wolves were sufficiently impressed with the Hell's Horses' new super soldiers, and Wolf Khan Alexis Ward agreed to a series of 3 trials with Horse Khan Eric Amaralt on Tiber. Each clan wagered examples of their respective technology, a third of which was bid in each of the 3 trials. The Wolves managed to win 2 of the 3, and so won glory by taking a larger portion of the Hell's Horses' wager, although their victory was somewhat diminished when Clan Jade Falcon swooped in shortly afterwards and stole examples of both battle armor and genetic super soldiers. Clan Wolf posted a sarcastic congratulation of the Jade Falcon's daring raid on the Chatterweb, which was enough for Clan Fire Mandrill and Clan Coyote to conduct similar raids on the Jade Falcons just 2 months later. Soon the tradition of mating these new battlesuits with elemental super soldiers spread to the rest of the clans. Although not without a fight, the Wolves were successful in holding off many trials of possession for a number of years, forcing several of the clans to scavenge the technology from each other. Clan Seafox was able to trade elemental technology from the Wolves in exchange for Hargel, a cell-sealing substance that was later incorporated into elemental suits. Feeling they were owed something, Clan Goliath Scorpion also traded for elemental suits, giving the Wolves access to 3 of their most cherished blood rights, with the understanding that Clan Wolf would only use them to breed for 3 cycles and never challenge the Scorpion's control of the associated blood names. Clan Ice Hellion used subterfuge during their trial, bidding conventional infantry and sneaking in new combat vehicles, and while successful, their underhandedness earned them the enmity of the Wolves. Clan Smoke Jaguar tried repeatedly to win the technology from Clan Wolf, even if they could have had an easier time taking it from other clans. And the Wolves took great pleasure in repeatedly beating them in the trials. Eventually, after a final battle where Clan Wolf was heavily outnumbered, yet won thanks to the debut of the Timberwolf design, the Smoke Jaguars gave up and won the technology from the Sea Foxes. Political Century. The Dragoon Compromise. As the Golden Century came to a close, a new division arose within clan society, leading to what would be known as the Political Century. On one side stood the Crusaders, who believed it was time that the clans returned to the inner sphere as conquerors, while on the other side were the Wardens, who believed the clan's role was to protect the inner sphere, not liberate it. At first, Clan Wolf remained largely neutral in the debate, but as the years wore on, they eventually came down on the side of the Wardens and, alongside Clan Coyote, headed the Warden faction in the Grand Council. By the dawn of the 31st century, public opinion in the clans was swaying towards the Crusader camp. However, even those wolves who adhered to the Crusader philosophy thought their compatriots in other clans were too quick to leap into the unknown. The clans were blind as to what was going on in the inner sphere, and an early effort known as Intelstar brought back fragmented rumors from the periphery. When in 3000, Khan Nadia Winson of Clan Ghostbear, herself a former wolf warrior taken as Abtaka, proposed an invasion route in the Grand Council, the Wolf Khan Kurlin Ward managed to outmaneuver the Crusaders with what became known as the Dragoon Compromise. A small unit of Clan Wolf warriors disguised as mercenaries would infiltrate the inner sphere, make a thorough survey of the situation, and report back to the clans. Rather than risk their best warriors, it was decided that Wolf Dragoons would be composed largely of freeborns, with a few trueborns, and led by Joshua and Jamie Wolf, themselves freeborns. Although many of the clans objected to this roster, it was ultimately decided that Clan Wolf had the right to compose the unit as they saw fit. In a surprise move, the Goliath Scorpion Sakon Ren Posavats won unopposed a bid to train this new unit and used the Heart Venom Cluster, the elite special forces of Clan Goliath Scorpion, to transform the Dragoons into a match for any frontline cluster. In 3004, the unit was ready to go when Khan Ward made the surprise announcement that the Dragoons' mission would last 25 years, holding off the invasion until 3030 at the earliest, and causing a near rebellion by Clan Ice Hellion. For the next few years, Wolf's Dragoons reported back to the clans with intelligence which not only gave vital data on the operation of the Great House's militaries, but vastly contradicted their preconceived notions of the state of the inner sphere. During the closing years of the Third Succession War, however, these reports became less frequent, until finally around 3019 they stopped reporting altogether, delaying the inevitable. The apparent desertion of Wolf's dragoons caught a divided Grand Council off guard and further agitated the great debate between Crusaders and Wardens. With their sole source on the Inner Sphere's current situation gone and unable to agree to a replacement, the clans were left with only hearsay. In late 3029, rumors reached the clans of the Federated Sons and Lyran Commonwealth joining in union. The Crusaders saw this as the first step in the Inner Sphere uniting on its own and reason enough to intervene now so that the clans could restore the Star League on their terms. Khan Ward's successor, Khan Ulrich Kerensky, managed to stall a vote in the Grand Council until news of the Fourth Succession War reached the clans and undercut the Crusaders' argument. By a slim margin, he was able to pass a resolution holding off the invasion vote until that conflict's resolution, buying more time for Wardens and antagonizing the Crusaders and the head of their faction, Clan Jade Falcon. A similar situation arose with the War of 3039 and was similarly diffused. In 3048, Clan Smoke Jaguar dropped a bombshell. They had captured the Comstar exploration ship Outbound Light in orbit of their homeworld Huntress. Using information he purported to have gleaned from the captured vessel, Khan Leo Showers presented evidence that was the Federated Commonwealth was well on its way to conquering the rest of the Inner Sphere and declaring itself the Reborn Star League, and that furthermore Comstar was close to revealing the location of the clan homeworlds and opening them up to attack from the Inner Sphere. The very thought of a reverse invasion by the Inner Sphere was anathema to the clans, and on 21 November the Grand Council voted almost unanimously for invasion. Only Clan Wolf stood opposed to the invasion, and Khan Ulrich Kerensky demanded a trial of refusal. While the odds initially stood at 16-1, bidding eventually reduced that to 4-1, with the third battle cluster facing off against Leo Showers' Crusaders. Fighting valiantly, the Wolves came close to seizing victory from Showers and his forces, but in the end, sheer numbers overwhelmed them and the trial was lost. Within weeks, Leo Showers was elected Ilkhan, and preparations for the invasion began immediately. Operation Revival. Wolves across the border. Clan Wolf was automatically given the right to participate as one of the 4 clans to invade the Inner Sphere by dint of their Kerensky heritage. However, Ilkhan Showers was determined to shame them for their opposition. When the invasion route was divided into 4 corridors, the Wolves were given the least prestigious, running mostly through the weaker Free Rosselhog Republic, and the Ilkhan's headquarters would be placed aboard the Wolf flagship Direwolf, implying that they needed his supervision. There was also division within the clan, with strong Crusader factions led by Sakon Garth Radek, who wanted to prove their worth in the invasion in opposition to Ulrich Kerensky, and the Wardens which opposed it in principle. Eventually an understanding was reached between the 2 factions. In the words of Ulrich Kerensky, quote, "The best revenge against those who forced it on us is to best them at it," unquote. The first opposition the Wolves met in the course of their invasion were on the planets of the periphery. Small numbers of enemy forces operating machines dilapidated even by Inner Sphere standards. Despite the ease with which they destroyed these forces, Wolf warriors came to respect their opponents, especially the Kellhounds who they faced on the Rock, and study their fighting styles. They freely offered this information to the other clans, but it was met only with derision for the dishonorable way the barbarians conducted themselves. It was during the battle for the Rock that Clan Wolf made perhaps its most important acquisition, the capture of Phalon Kell. The first 2 waves of the invasion were cautious successes for the Wolves, sticking to their initial plan of invading 6 worlds per wave. Their opposition mostly consisted of Rosselhog forces, which were easily swept aside by the clan advance, a function of both the disdain which Rosselhogians felt toward the mercenaries who defended them, and paralysis among their government's high command. In truth, though, no Inner Sphere force was truly equipped for the surprise attack of such advanced foes, and what Federated Commonwealth worlds they invaded fell just as easily. The pack races ahead. Clan Wolf began the 3rd wave of the invasion with a surprise plan to invade nearly twice as many worlds as before. They succeeded in no small part to the considerable concern Ulrich Kerensky gave to the matter of logistics. Whereas the other clans were willing to invade worlds with only 1 or 2 ammunition reloads and wait for their merchant case to bring up more supplies from the rear, Ulrich increased the flow of supplies and took the daring chance of forward deploying supply caches in enemy territory. This drastically cut down the amount of time it took to repair and refit his forces and allowed the Wolves to proceed at their quickened pace. The 3rd wave plan also brought them into conflict with Clan Ghostbear, which desired the capital world of Rosselhog and lay close enough to the border of their invasion corridor to bid for against the Wolves. A fierce bidding war took place between the 2 sides on the Direwolf in July, and while Clan Wolf won, they were forced to go way below the cutdown and invade with only 3 clusters. Despite this disadvantage, the wolves were successful in conquering Rosselhog, in no small part thanks to the information provided by Phelan Kell. Clan Wolf launched the fourth wave ahead of schedule, and again targeted far more worlds than before. By the end of the advance in October 3050, Clan Wolf had conquered twice as many worlds as any other clan. Beyond the valor and skill of wolf warriors, this success was attributable to Ulrich's logistical planning, including the acquisition of local resources in a fair and just manner. Unsurprisingly, this success also embarrassed and enraged the other clans, and Leo Showers was determined to put the brakes on his rival's breakneck pace. He convened a Grand Council meeting planning to censure or remove Ulrich from command, but never got the chance to implement his plan. On 1 November, the dire wolf came under attack by Rosselhagian forces, and the Ilkhan was killed by a kamikaze attack from Tira Miraborg. Alpha Wolf. On the journey back to clan space to elect a new Ilkhan, the other invading clans conspired to get back at Ulrich for the death of Leo Showers. At first, they attempted to convict him of being directly responsible for the Ilkhan's death, but thanks to the testimony from Phelan Kell, who had also saved Ulrich from the same attack which killed Leo Showers, the Wolf Khan was exonerated. Foiled, they then attempted to get back at Ulrich in a more unconventional way, electing him to replace Leo, and thereby forcing him to command the invasion he was philosophically opposed to. They also hoped this would free up Ulrich's position as Wolf Khan for another Crusader-minded warrior. Again, Ulrich sidestepped them by nominating Nicholas Kerensky to take his place, then thanked the Crusaders for their support by assigning Clan Novacat and Clan Steel Viper to assist Clan Smoke Jaguar and Jade Falcon, forcing the two to give up planets to their new allies and causing friction within their occupation zones. A year had passed when the invasion resumed with the fifth wave, but despite the best efforts of the Inner Sphere to prepare, Clan Wolf continued to steam over their opposition. Clan Wolf continued to conquer more worlds than any other clan and at a much faster pace thanks to their meticulous planning, excellent logistics, and the skill of their warriors. By the end of the wave, Clan Wolf was in the lead and well on its way to being the first clan to reach Terra and so become Ilclan. When Ilkhan Ulrich Kerensky personally told Comstar of their destination, the Order was stunned. Where before they had cooperated with the clans, the realization that their seat of power was under threat caused a sea change in thinking among the Order's leadership. In April 3051, Anastasius Vogt negotiated with Ilkhan Ulrich Kerensky that a trial be held on the planet Tukiad between the forces of the clans and the Comguards. If the clans won, then Terra was theirs, but if Comstar won, then the clans would agree to truce. The Ilkhan agreed, setting the truce period to 15 years, and the stage was set for the climax of the invasion. Battle of Tukiad. Unlike the other clans, which bid away vital forces to earn earlier landings, the Wolves held back and conservatively bid their most elite clusters of Alpha, Beta, and Gamma galaxies, content to use the other clans as stalking horses. Thanks to the direct insight and experience of Khan Natasha Kerensky and bondsman-turned-clansman Phelan with Inner Sphere tactics, the Wolves prepared for a long campaign against a foe intelligent enough to take advantage of their weaknesses on a battlefield of his making, suspending all Zelbringen, making plans to build up and protect their supply chain, and configuring their Omnimex with a heavy bias towards energy weapons. Recognizing that Clan Wolf would be his hardest opponent, Presenter Marshal Vogt devoted his best troops to the battle, transferring the elite 278th to assist the 9th and 10th armies. The 10th assigned to defend the primary target of Skupo, with the 9th guarding the secondary city of Burzo. Further, with the Wolves landing last, Vogt would also find that he could transfer troops slated to face other clans after they withdrew in defeat, an ace in the hole he hoped would go unused. With the Clan Wolf dropships grounding unopposed 40 kilometers southeast from both target cities, the Wolves' 3rd and 7th battle clusters and Alpha Galaxy's 4th Wolf Guards advanced shoulder to shoulder as if expecting to fight for every step towards the primary target city of Skupo. The clan advance encountered the 278th and 166th Divisions outside the small hamlet of Forest End at the foothills of the Porozitsu Mountains. While the 66th Division harried the Wolves' right flank and the inexperienced 283rd Division prevented the 4th Wolf Guards from encircling the 166th and 2787th positions, the Wolfkhans focused all their efforts on the primary defensive line, slowly pushing the 166th and 278th Divisions back. But as the Comguard divisions retreated towards Skupo under artillery cover, the Clan Wolf forces proved strangely hesitant to follow. The 10th Army's CO Presenter Margot Koivu ordering recon patrols be stepped up as a precaution. The Comstar forces finally discovered why, with Natasha Kerensky's 13th Wolf Guards launching a series of sweeping attacks to try and completely bypass the 166th Division's section of the retreat, desperately ordering the held in reserve 282nd Division to delay and push Kerensky's Wolf Spiders back to allow the rest of the retreating Comguard forces to reach the target city, while battered the elite Wolf troops brutally tore the veteran division to shreds. While incredibly costly, the 282nd sacrifice allowed the remaining divisions of the 10th Army to fall back to their defensive positions outside Skupo. However, before the 10th Army's divisions could dig in, nipping at their heels, the Wolf forces resumed their attack. But while initially successful in breaking through the Comstar lines, the 13th Wolf Guards walked into an ambush as the entrenched 138th Division emerged from hidden positions on an apparently barren hilltop. While any other unit would have broken in the face of such a point-blank ambush, their sheer stubbornness allowed the Wolf Spiders to hold their ground until they succeeded in killing the 138th CO Presenter Jernberg and forcing the devastated division back, with Presenter Marshal Vogt hurriedly ordering reinforcements from the 9th Army's 198th and 247th Divisions to try and bolster the faltering Comguard battle line. As the Wolf Spiders began to tear into the 166th Division, the morale of the Comguard defenders began to suffer as the Wolves' unceasing assault ran roughshod over them. With the elite 278th Division, now the sole Comstar unit left effectively combating the Clan Wolf forces, Ilkhan Ulrich Kerensky ordered Delta Galaxy's 11th Wolf Guards to eliminate the troublesome unit. Despite a brilliantly coordinated counterattack against the 11th, the Comguard division then found itself encircled by another Wolf cluster. Unable to break the trap, the 278th went down fighting, inflicting heavy losses on their attackers. Now lacking the forces to hold Skupo after the loss of the 278th, Presenter Marshal Vogt ordered the withdrawal of the remaining 66th and 208th Divisions defending it to try and save them from succumbing to the Clan forces, Clan Wolf cautiously advancing to avoid any further Comstar traps before taking Skupo unopposed. Leaving several clusters from their Gamma Galaxy to protect Skupo before the bulk of their forces made way to Burzo, the Wolves' Alpha Galaxy engaged the remaining divisions of the 10th Army that guarded the approaches to the city, while Beta Galaxy fended off reinforcements from the 9th Army's 366th and 379th Divisions. As the Comguard lines began to weaken, the withdrawal of Clan Jade Falcon allowed Presenter Marshal Vogt to transfer the 11th and 13th Armies to the fight against the Wolves, with the divisions of the 11th dropping in the fringes of Burzo to reinforce the defenses. Pulling back in the face of 3 full armies, the Wolves focused on capturing Comguard depots and securing their own supply lines before advancing, only for the divisions of the 11th Army to launch an all-out attack against Beta Galaxy in the Pozaritsu Mountains. But under the cover of a fierce storm, Natasha Kerensky's Wolf Spiders led the remaining clusters of Alpha and Beta in quietly breaching the Comguard lines in an attempt to bypass 9 divisions. While the Presenter Marshals spotted the Wolves advance and set the 39th and 222nd Divisions to separate and stall the Wolf Spiders until the divisions of the ad hoc 13th Army could arrive, Phelan's Axe Star instead held the 222nd trapped until the arrival of their fellows. In the midst of this bloody battle, Senior Khan Garth Radek was killed, with the 11th Army pushing the advantage and forcing the shocked Wolf warriors into retreat. However, the blow to the Wolves' morale was short-lived, with Kerensky's 13th Wolf Guards crushing the remains of the 222nd and capturing Burzo for Clan Wolf. While poor deployment by Comguard forces allowed the Ghost Bears to earn a marginal victory, and the savagery of the Jade Falcons allowed them to exact a withdraw, Clan Wolf comprehensively defeated Comstar at every turn, even when facing 4 full armies. In many respects, it would be Clan Wolf's greatest hour, but would bring disastrous consequences. Mirroring the clans as a whole, the divide between Wolves' Warden and Crusader factions only increased in intensity after Tukiad, eventually resulting in the Refusal War and the sundering of the clan into separate Crusader and Warden halves. Refusal War. In 3057, Clan Jade Falcon sought to remove Ulrich and continue the invasion. When the council tried Ulrich for treason and voted him out of office, Clan Wolf all but destroyed itself in preventing the Jade Falcons from breaking the truce by instigating a trial of refusal on a scale never before seen outside of a trial of annihilation. This particular trial of refusal would be forever referred to as the Refusal War against the Jade Falcons. To ensure the clan's survival, Ulrich ordered Phelan Kell, then known as Phelan Ward, to take a contingent of warriors and a cross-section of other case to the inner sphere while he and Natasha Kerensky sought to break the Falcons. Eventually, the Falcons were victorious, but they could not touch the part of the Wolf Clan that left clan-controlled space and went into self-imposed exile to the Inner Sphere. This clan wolf in exile would eventually settle on planet Ark Royal in the Lyran Alliance and guarded the border against any clan incursions. Clan Jade Wolf. In an attempt to both destroy a hated enemy and win himself enough political prestige to potentially win the next Ilkhan election, the Jade Falcon Sakon von der von Chistu made the claim that the Refusal War had been a trial of absorption and that all remaining Wolf Clan assets were now Jade Falcons, at the same time abjuring those who fled with Phelan Kell. However, Sakon Chistu had not counted on the survival of Star Captain Vlad, who had borne witness to the treacherous ambush which killed Ulrich Kerensky. As the only member of Clan Wolf who had not either fled to the Inner Sphere or accepted the absorption with the evidence against Chistu, Vlad was in a position to challenge his claim of an absorption, but only with the help of the Jade Falcon Khan Elias Critchell. The senior Khan agreed to help Vlad, and in the trial of refusal which followed, Vlad succeeded in killing Chistu, thereby rendering the absorption null and void. Khan Critchell upheld part of the bargain by granting Vlad the Ward blood name, but instead of fully reforming Clan Wolf, he created instead Clan Jade Wolf, made up of all captured wolf warriors who had been absorbed into the Jade Falcons. Vlad was furious with this deception at first, but bided his time instead, winning the position of Khan for this new clan. When the Grand Council convened to elect a new Ilkhan, Elias Critchell won the vote as expected, but what came next surprised everyone. Khan Ward immediately challenged Critchell as being unfit for command, and in the trial that commenced, slew him. With the Jade Falcon Khan dead at his feet, Vlad Ward declared that the Jade Wolves were reborn as Clan Wolf, a technically new clan with none of the taint of the pre-refusal war wolves. Jihad. There are articles for the Harvest Trials and the Great Refusal. They are linked in the article, which you can find down below. But they are not part of this article, so those will be read at a future date if somebody requests them. All right, the Jihad. Clan Wolf initially stayed neutral in the Word of Blake Jihad, but they were attacked anyway. Tamar was the subject of a damaging attack from Word of Blake forces on 28 December 3070, the Scouring of Tamar. The Blakes did not land ground forces. Instead, the attack consisted of nuclear strikes aimed at a number of heavily populated areas, including Clan Wolf headquarters. The attack on Tamar, capital world of the Clan Wolf occupation zone, coincided with an attack on Ark Royal, the capital world of Clan Wolf in exile. This forced Khan Vlad Ward to plan and launch Operation Damocles II, effectively abandoning clan space and relocating all assets to their occupation zone. In the last stages of the Jihad, Clan Wolf finally joined Stone's coalition, first with a small unit, later with all their strength, putting an end to the Jihad. Wars of Reaving. In the 3070s, the tensions between the home and invasion clans were growing. This was evidenced by Snake Alliance's decision to elect Mandrill Khan Garrett Sames as Ilkhan, and Brett Andrews' succession of him. Wolf Khan Vlad Ward noted how much the debacle and decisions among the clans and the Grand Council were a joke. He would even mock both Ilkhan Andrews and the Council after discussing the matters that had been plaguing both clans. Furious, Ilkhan Andrews attempted to vote to annihilate the Wolves for their lack of honor and taint, but instead this would be reduced to an abjuration by the Grand Council, leaving the Wolves to become abjured from clan space. During the clan civil war in the mid-3070s, the now abjured Clan Wolf would launch a daring raid on the Kerensky Blood Chapel. The goal was to capture the legacy of the Kerensky and destroy every bit of it from physical material to copies. The Wolves would also offer a bachal to the rest of the other clans to snatch Kerensky's legacy from the Wolves' jaws to prove themselves worthy of it. The fighting lasted for days until Clan Wolf detonated the Kerensky Blood Chapel. Upon the aftermath of the war and creation of the Council of Six, it would be revealed that Clan Wolf actually saved the copies of Genetic Legacy and the Kerensky name. Post-Jihad. The Wolves found themselves facing a crisis of confidence in the early 3080s. The clan needed to make a show of strength to intimidate their neighbors and project an attitude of strength, but the strength of the Wolf Tumen was badly reduced by the Jihad. The Wolves had been using a mixture of confidence and skill to avoid challenges that would expose their weakness for almost 15 years, but the Wolf Tumen mustered just 60% of the strength in 3081 that had managed to field in 3067, and the Wolf occupation zone was now surrounded by enemies. Actions against Clan Hell's horses in recent years had gone badly, and with the Sibco program decimated, the Wolves were forced to accept more freeborn warriors into the Tumen while stripping second-line clusters of Omnimex and advanced technology to keep the frontline clusters in top form. Operation Hammerfall. Hammerfall was conceived by Archon Melissa Steiner as a means to strengthen her house in face of multiple threats after the collapse of the Republic of the Sphere and the fall of the HPG nets. The operation included a secret alliance with Clan Wolf to pass through Lyran space to occupy worlds on their border with the Free Worlds League. Also, it was designed to tie up political rivals and opponents of her policies, Duke Vedit Brewer of Hesperus II, by having him lead a military campaign into the old Free Worlds League space. Trillian Steiner was sent to both Clan Wolf in Exile and Duke Vedit to pitch the operation. Clan Wolf in Exile Khan Patrick Fetledral met with the Archon on Tharkat in January 3137 to formalize their plans to invade. The LCAF began bringing up regiments to staging bases along the Merrick border between late 3136 and early 3137. Wolf Empire. During the Dark Age era, Clan Wolf decided to move out of their occupation zone and make a new one in parts of the Free Worlds League space and later Lyran territory. This was brought to fruition by then Lyran Archon Melissa Steiner, who proposed a joint invasion of the former Free Worlds League. In Operation Hammerfall, the Wolves and the Lyran forces had principally invaded the Merrick Commonwealth. However, due to the Lyran betrayal during the campaign, Con Ward chose to cease further invasion of the League and turned his eyes to the Lyran Commonwealth due to its treatments of the Wolves' migrating civilian caste. On New Year's Day 3142, this new occupation zone would be renamed the Wolf Empire and would continue to encroach into the Commonwealth with its capital set on the world of Gina. While carving into Commonwealth space, they experienced fierce fighting from both the Free Worlds League and the Lyrans. The Wolves, seeing an opportunity to reunify Clan Wolf to their former glory, decided to cooperate with their exiled counterparts. They would offer the exiles a chance to come home through absorption as an alternative to being destroyed or being treated like bandits by the other clans. Some exiles decided to capitalize on the opportunity, while others did not. Ill Clan Trial. Under the leadership of Khan Alaric Ward, the Wolf Empire would disband the Republic of the Sphere and have one final battle with Clan Jade Falcon. This would result in what would be known as the Ill Clan Trial, a final battle that would decide the fate of both Terra and the Inner Sphere, where the winner would become the Ill Clan of the Star League. Both clans would fight hard to claim the mantle and as a result took heavy losses. The battle ended when Malvina Hazen was defeated on the field. Ill Clan Era. Only 40% of Clan Wolf survived the Terra campaign. On 17 April 3151, following the Wolf victory for the Ill Clanship, 60% of the Wolf Clan Council voted to allow the exiles to rejoin Clan Wolf, which compensated part their losses. In the aftermath of their battle against Clan Jade Falcon, Clan Wolf would become the Ill Clan of the Reborn Star League and take control of Terra for themselves. Both claims were recognized, at least officially, by Clans Ghost Bear, Jade Falcon, Sea Fox, and Snow Raven, but not by Clan Hell's Horses, whose Khans angrily denied any claim to their loyalty by Alaric or the Wolves. As Alaric had taken nearly all Wolf warriors to Terra, his empire was left almost defenseless. But unlike the Jade Falcon occupation zone, which collapsed into the anarchic hinterlands, the Wolves' empire remained intact through a combination of their benign rule and their still fearsome reputation in the neighboring Free Worlds League and Lyran Commonwealth. Another key factor in the empire's survival was that it was not leaderless. The highest-ranking officer left on the capital Gina, Star Colonel Othar, assumed command of the empire on his own initiative and created two new galaxies, Rufus Galaxy and Lupus Galaxy, to defend it. However, despite the refusal of both the Lyran leader, Archon Trillian Steiner, and the League's Nico Hallis Hughes Merrick to invade the Empire, some of their subordinates and League provinces mounted smaller attacks on their own initiative, first using mercenaries to test the Empire's defenses. Simultaneously, Wolf's Dragoons, enraged by their losses on Terra and Alaric's insults, began hitting targets across the Empire, both on their own and under contract. Over almost a full year, Othar managed to keep most of the Empire intact, despite losing some worlds and suffering a devastating Dragoons raid on Gina itself. But in all that time, he did not receive a single warrior from Terra, barely 2 messages from the Ilkhan, and it became evident that for whatever reason, Alaric could not or would not send any aid to the Empire. Worse was to come in mid-3152. The League Parliament voted to undertake a full invasion of the Wolf Empire, and on 28 June, the first wave of FWLM attackers crossed the border. Culture. While taking heed of many of the teachings passed down by the great founder, Clan Wolf has been noted for their lack of formality and rigid adherence to tradition. The caste system is still present in Clan Wolf, and the warriors still dominate. However, personal freedom is a right of every member of the clan, regardless of caste. Individuals are still expected to work for the greater good of their clan and to follow the orders of their superiors, but they are allowed to express whatever views they may believe in any manner they choose. Beyond their martial skills, wolf warriors tend to be highly adept politicians, wielding their words as skillfully as they would a weapon in combat. In this manner, the clan was able to lead the Warden faction and delay the invasion vote for many decades until fate finally intervened. The Wolf clan is also noted for respecting technology as a means for achieving one's maximum potential, with the field of genetics the most highly respected due to its role in the eugenics program. As a rule, most wolves will refuse the use of cybernetics, seeing these devices as turning someone into something they are not, and will prefer to use the use of vat-grown cloned limbs to prosthetic limbs. The noted exception is the use of enhanced imaging by crusader-minded warriors. Clan Wolf also does not observe formal rituals beyond those common to all of the clans, such as the rite of maturity held after a cadet's trial of position and the ritual of adoption. They trust that the upbringing their warriors receive is good enough and that no further loyalty tests are required. Historically, each frontline galaxy did maintain their own individual rituals, such as Alpha Galaxy's Wolf Rite, which set them apart from each other. Since the rebirth of Clan Wolf under the leadership of Khan Vlad Ward, an effort has been made to destroy many traditions associated with the Warden faction in order to ensure the future domination of the Crusaders. These include a more authoritarian stance with regards to the civilian case, which has put a strain on the traditionally good relations between the case. Military. The military successes of Clan Wolf have been attributable to a doctrine breakdown into 3 stages. The first is acquiring accurate intelligence of your enemy. Their willingness to study and analyze inner-sphere fighting styles early on during the clan invasion allowed Clan Wolf to better plan their attacks and so achieve success with fewer losses. The second is to ensure adequate preparation before undertaking a military campaign. The breakneck pace of the Wolf invasion, and indeed their success in the Battle of Tukiad, was thanks only due to the diligent work given over to logistics. Finally, once battle commenced, a commander has to be willing to take calculated risks, as often as this could be the determining factor in winning or losing a fight. Just as they have been known as consummate politicians, so too were the wolves particularly skilled in the bachal and the art of bidding. To the casual observer, a wolf warrior engaged in bidding appears to take on a carefree attitude as they bid away whole units. But in truth, every wolf warrior knows that the very outcome of the coming battle hangs in the balance during this phase, and so bids accordingly. When necessary, though, the wolf clan's penchant for precision, low bidding was dispensed with, as occurred during the clan invasion. If a world could be taken more quickly with a larger force, then that was preferable to a more drawn-out confrontation which wasted resources. For the same reason, Clan Wolf historically had a very liberal attitude towards the traditional rules of engagement or Zelbringen. Though the other clans may call into question the honorable nature of some of their tactics, to Clan Wolf they adhered to the great founder's teachings of conserving resources. What's more, this flexible mindset was responsible for their tremendous success. For example, it was Clan Wolf which pioneered the use of headhunter units for infiltrating the enemy's rear area to decapitate their command structure. However, under the leadership of Khan Vlad Ward, the clan as a whole took on a more conservative views regarding Zelbringen. Similar to the egalitarian nature of the intercaste relations in Clan Wolf, the relationship between trueborn and freeborn warriors has historically shifted from mere mild contempt to friendly competition. Despite Khan Vlad Ward's known hatred for freeborns, he too has been forced to rely on these freebirths to fill out his depleted tumen. Likewise, bondsmen were readily allowed to prove their worth to the clan and adopted wholeheartedly, a practice which continues under Vlad's leadership. Traditionally, each frontline galaxy in the clan performed their own rituals for new and current members. Following the reformation of Clan Wolf, Vlad Ward has put an end to these practices, part of an effort to ensure the domination of the Crusader faction within the clan. Alright, rulers. There are separate articles for the Khans, the Saw Khans, and the Lore Masters of Clan Wolf and Clan Wolf in Exile. Blood names. There is a separate article for a list of Clan Wolf blood names. Interclan relations. Before their eventual sundering, Clan Wolf has gained a respectable amount of attention. Their status as guardians of Kerensky's legacy alone has given them good amount of allies and enemies. Of course, their coveted status has also given the wolves envious foes. After the events of the Refusal War, the Wolf clan's relationship changed as they became reformed crusaders. Clan Smoke Jaguar. Ally. The Jaguars' feud with the Wolves would stem to before Operation Revival, and due to their warden views, when Leo Showers was elected as Ilkhan, he would punish the Wolves by forcing them to participate in the Crusader-led assault. Clan Wolf's success during the invasion made the Jaguars so furious that they plotted with other clans to sabotage their efforts and use them as scapegoats. The Jaguars would even grow angrier when their plan to make Ulrich Kerensky an Ilkhan backfired on them. The Fidelis members who fought with Clan Wolf during the Ilklan trials would maintain those ties even after being reformed into Clan Smoke Jaguar. Clan Jade Falcon. Ally. The Jade Falcons were the primary nemesis of Clan Wolf. To start, the Jade Falcon clan were angry when Ilkhan Nicholas Kerensky joined and gave them his revered legacy to the clan. In addition, the Wolf clan's warden philosophy and leadership were something that the Jade Falcons could not stand. They would finally get their revenge on them during the Refusal War, splitting the once mighty clan into two factions. Following the war, they gained a friend in Clan Jade Falcon, seeing them as potential allies, with Martha and Vlad working together to foil the Home Clan coalition and cause the Jaguars' destruction. Post-Dark Age era, Clan Wolf would begin the process of healing with Clan Jade Falcon by making them a bodyguard clan out of respect for their tenacity during the Ilklan trials and Blackwatch heritage, thus ending the historic Wolf-Falcon rivalry. Clan Ice Hellion. Enemy. The Ice Hellions disliked the Wolves to such an extent that they even named one of their own mechs to insult them before it was captured and renamed. In 3057, Clan Ice Hellion found new reasons to hate the Wolves. Their interference with Asa Taney's Home Clan coalition and the Harvest Trials. The Ice Hellion swore vengeance upon Khan Ward and his wolves for ruining their plans until their destruction in 3072. Clan Hell's Horses. Enemy. The Hell's Horses also maintained good relations with the Wolves despite their change to the Crusader camp. Horse Khan Malavai Fletcher would bid his forces to Vlad Ward to join the Inner Sphere, only to get ejected by their hated rivals, Clan Ghostbear. After their return, they would conquer Clan Wolf worlds under new Khan James Cobb due to the manipulation of his clan during Operation Ice Storm. The hostilities were amplified after the Dark Ages when angry Horse Khan Gottfried Amaralt confronted Ilkhan Alaric about not inviting them for the Ilklan trial, which was later followed by a trial of refusal against the Ilkhan. In response, Alaric refused while responding with logic-filled insults toward the Horse Khan. In turn, Horse leadership would refuse to recognize Clan Wolf as the Ilklan. Clan Coyote. Enemy. Clan Coyote was a true ally of the original Clan Wolf, given the close relationship between Coyote founding Khan Dana Kufal and Wolf instructor Andrei Kerensky, as well as their warden philosophies. The Coyote-Wolf relationship would sour due to the change of the reborn Wolf clan, and post-Reaving, Clan Coyote and Clan Wolf would sever their ties due to the political ideologies and geographical alliances set up by the home and invader clans. All right, we then have a map of the original Clan Wolf occupation zone and a couple of logos. All right, that is Clan Wolf. Let me know down in the comments why Clan Wolf is your favorite clan. And as always, drop us a comment and let us know what you'd like to hear next. Drop a like if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new here. And otherwise, we'll talk to you next time. Thanks. Bye.